You can't miss them from Forsyth Boulevard in Clayton. Metal sculptures that reach toward the sky in phoenix-like splendor. They crown the Forsyth station on Metro Link's cross-county extension route. This work, entitled Hoy Paloy, came out of Metro's Arts and Transit program and is one of several permanent installations at the new cross-county stations. Hoy Paloy was born in the St. Louis studio of sculptor Lindsay Stouffer.
Everything around the project is sort of designed to attract people towards it, and it is actually in the shape of an amphitheater, the project itself, or the site.
Of course, a project of this kind begins on the drawing board, and in our digital age, on the computer.
And so this is a section up through the site and plan, so you're looking down on it. Now it's tilting the ramps on the north side up so you can see just the structural fins, and the yellow piece is a bracket that holds the fin in space, or in place. And now it's rotating around so you can see the different vantage points. I do a lot of photo montages of the different sites, so that I think in doing those photo montages it makes you look more closely at the site itself.
We stopped by the site in the middle of the installation process to see how the sculptures were taking shape.
What you're looking at actually are the structural elements. Some custom perforated screens will be mounted to the outside of these fins, which will give it its, finish off the character that you look at. I'm working with the landscaping to create a green backdrop, and hopefully we'll have some flagstones that will invite the passerby to walk up and approach the site and look down into it and then walk into the site.
And while it's not an actual part of her sculptures, Stouffer is impressed with, of all things, the ramps.
One of the things I like about that is that ramps, or ADA access, is typically like the secondary form of access and not really the most beautiful part of the architectural project. This is changing in today's climate, but in this particular project, the ramps are certainly visually the most important and powerful piece of the project.
The intent of this and other arts and transit works is to grow the bi-state area's collection of public art. At the same time, Metro hopes to raise public awareness and appreciation of the transit system itself.
This is actually very typical of modern transportation systems today. Most every light rail system in the United States that's been built within the last 10-15 years has an art component. And throughout the country, there are 350 public art programs similar to Arts in Transit throughout the country.
Attention passengers, the next westbound train will be arriving in 30 seconds.
We headed west to the Shrewsbury-Lansdowne station. That's where a series of 20-foot tall sculptures was being installed on an open-air slope adjacent to the tracks. San Francisco artist Douglas Hollis calls his work aquilone. It's Italian for kite.
Quite a few of the inspirations for this piece come out of my interest in kites and flying kites and other people that have made wonderful structures that fly, and has wind organ pipes attached to the front of each unit. And when the wind blows hard enough, that activates those pipes like organ pipes, so they actually sing.
This illuminated matrix is part of a set suspended above the platforms in the University City Big Bend station. The color patterns of these light-emitting diodes, or LEDs, are controlled by computer chips and sensors.
What happens is that it has a video camera that perceives, people on the platform, and also perceives trains coming into the station. And that alters the patterns of the light patterns in the structures.
We found computer artist and musician Irvin Reddle of Brooklyn, New York, fine-tuning his LED light installation at the Skinker station. This work emits an ongoing series of light patterns from opposite ends of a panel.
Initially they start actually at the same speed. Then the left wave becomes slightly slower and the other one faster. Once they reach a certain point, they turn direction more or less. After about 10 minutes, they meet again at the same speed. So it's this kind of shifting of speeds, which reflects somehow the movement of trains that is, a permanent feature here, obviously.
This marriage of art and architecture had its beginnings with Metro back in the mid-1980s. Since that time, more than 100 public art installations have been created through Arts in Transit, from as small as a work of poetry on a Metro bus to larger installations, like Lindsay Stouffer's. During an open house at her studio, Stouffer recalled an encounter that proved her efforts are having an impact.
There was this young kid that was on a bike, and I don't know, he's a teenager, you know, he's really hip looking and stuff, and he gets off the bike and he's like, "So, did you do this thing?" And I'm like, "Well, kinda, yeah." And you're like, "This is really cool," you know?
So the next time you're waiting for the train, look around and take your imagination along for the ride.